Mark here from noisypixel.net, and today we have a new tech video on the map for a keyboard with our brand HyperX. Thank you again, HyperX, for sending this out. I'll say it right now, but today we have the HyperX Alloy Origins.
Noisy Pixel.
This is a mechanical wired keyboard, but the cable can detach, which is kind of nice. So you'll have an extra USB-C cable that isn't just stuck to a keyboard. But we have tactile switches, and if you see on the back of the box here, HyperX likes to lay it out with red, aqua, and blue. So we're in the middle. Red being linear, tactile is aqua, and clicky is blue. So I guess we're on tactile. I actually wasn't too familiar with their different types of keys, so I'm just happy to test it out and see how it relates to me, really. You know, that's why you click on a review, to get an opinion. Anyway, it's got some nice features such as this kickstand. I love keyboards that come with the legs on the bottom. But while we're talking about it, let's open up this RGB keyboard. And right when you open up the box, it's actually just right there. And you could just kind of grab the plastic and pull it out. We're gonna get to that in a second, but you'll see some warranty and manuals, I guess. That goes on the ground for now. You pull this cardboard insert out, which also goes on the ground. And then you are left with the pretty thick USB-C braided cable. It's not like very flimsy, it's very rigid. So keep that in mind, very different from other brands and how they make cables. So I'll put this to the side now, and we are gonna unwrap the Alloy Origins mechanical keyboard. And right off the bat, it actually feels like a pretty solid piece of board here. You hear that? It's like it's not very plasticky. It is pretty thick, and I actually like it. It's not too heavy, but it's heavy enough to where you're like, okay, this is made with some higher grade stuff. But you can see that I've already flipped out naturally in the legs because I am an advocate of the tilted keyboard. It does not come with a wrist rest, so if you like to rest your wrist on something soft, you're going to have your own wrist rest. But you can also see here, you can see the blue switches on the side, which is pretty cool looking, if I must say. Some people might not like it, but it kind of adds to an overall color scheme of the board when it's off, and I also like the color blue, so it works for me, and I like the touch. But before we jump into the review, we're gonna just do a little sound test here. Very mechanical feeling keyboard. Got the sound. A little plasticky sound, like not as springy and mechanical as you would think. On the top left of the board, which might be on the right now, I don't know my direction. So we have a HyperX logo near the number pad on the board. It is a full size, and there's a little plastic you could peel off to reveal some sort of display, digital display for the number lock, caps lock. So that might be a pretty cool feature just in terms of aesthetics. I'm gonna have to try these keys out, but you can see here that they have these like 3 Venn diagram keys. So I have to look into that. They also have a crosshair button on here, which is very interesting. It most likely connects to their Ingenuity app, and you can maybe like preset your crosshair through F12. So very gamer oriented. We'd like to see that in a gamer product, you know, tailored to their customers for sure. I'm gonna pull a key off and then we'll go into the review. I said we're gonna go into the review before, so we're gonna try and do this on camera. I like the color blue or aqua that they chose. What are you gonna say? I like my colors. Thank you for sticking it out through the unboxing section of the video. We're gonna jump into the review next, so keep a lookout for my opinion of the HyperX Alloy Origins mechanical keyboard. Yes, another keyboard in the house. Everybody wants your money in the keyboard realm. And I would say that the hardware ecosystem is the most significant contributor to buying influence today, at least when it comes to gaming. Linking together your hardware and money well spent is a big selling point because everybody wants their setup to be cooler than the next. The HyperX Alloy Origins does just that by spicing up the desk, but don't get overly excited about using the hardware. Unboxing the keyboard is underwhelming, as you are only left with a wire, keyboard, manuals, and cheap cardboard. I enjoy the process of opening some packages, and there wasn't much here. Other than manuals and warranty cards, the only other thing to unpack is the braided USB-C to USB-A cable, which is about 2 meters long, the standard. Further, the cable is thick and durable, not flimsy, so it will hold its shape. Regardless, upon looking into the general look and feel of the board, it stands out as very laid back and minimal. I don't think it does so in a good way either here, because I find this keyboard can benefit from some textural design somewhere. It is just a bit too slippery and buttery for my taste. The smoothness also seems to take away from the feeling of high quality, as the brain associates plastic with smoothness rather than a specific material. The keyboard doesn't seem to be very thought out in terms of aesthetics. The removable wire is neat, but it's a bit boring at the same time. You only have this tiny hole at the top right of the board, and the top is so plain looking. Quickly flipping the board over, the HyperX Alloy Origins has a nice pair of legs, if I do say so myself, offering 2 different heights for your wrists. Adding to this, if the small kickstand is being used, you must put the small kickstand down before you can raise the taller set of legs. Nevertheless, it's neat how the locking system works, and I like a good set of legs on a keyboard. Back to the keys. The feeling of the keys comes from the blue HyperX key, referring to the tactile feel rather than linear or clicky. Additionally, the keyboard sound is clicky yet mild. It's quite the in-between of quietness and mechanical obnoxiousness. Continuing the key talk, this keyboard is loaded with macro keys built into the function and arrow keys. These keys include keyboard brightness, keyboard color presets, media keys for music, muting, volume, pausing, and even a gamer mode key. Function key 12 is gamer lock, locking Windows key activation. The Alloy Origins has a digital display for caps, numbers, and even the gamer lock, which is nice to see. But again, I find the presentation disappointing after seeing the display on. It's too minimal, and we need more style. You can use F1 to F3 to auto-change your keyboard color presets. Granted, these keys can be changed to anything via the HyperX Ingenuity software. It's a nice default for the board. I have much to say about these color keys, though we will save that for later. Next, the backlight brightness via the directional keys works in 5 steps. Sometimes brightness settings can be tricky, and I find HyperX did well here, as the lighting is bright and illuminates well. I love the RGB of this keyboard, and I think it is the best part of this piece of hardware. The lights brighten the room, and the keyboard seemingly has an underglow. The placement and brightness of the LED just seem right in the daylight or at night. Regarding the media keys, you can change or pause your music on your preferred platform, but you can't raise or lower the volume. You can only mute. If you change the volume, you will be reducing the master PC volume, not the music software being used. I find that to be normal though. I just like to point it out. The HyperX Alloy Origins basically has a right-click or options button next to your function key. This is sort of neat, but who is actually using this key? When it comes to user experience with the HyperX Alloy Origins, I have plenty to say. Let's start with a predominant bug. If you go from computer to computer, restart the PC, turn on your PC, or even sometimes unplug the wire, you have to restart your PC altogether to stop this insane, uncontrollable light blinking problem. The keyboard lights turn on and off, and the light also changes randomly. So after restarting, the keyboard handles well. These issues likely have to do with BIOS. Unfortunately, not every restart will fix this issue either. Let me explain this bug by adding another into the conversation, illustrating how this keyboard is a bit jank. The preset color function 1 to 3 keys simply do not work, even after saving multiple color tones to different presets via Ingenuity. Also, the software doesn't explain anything or make it easy to customize the keys built into the keyboard. I cannot double check if my function 1 to 3 keys are set because the software doesn't explain, and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if my keyboard is broken. I tried to reset my PC after saving presets and thought maybe that's how I get these keys to work. But nope, the keyboard glitched out and did that blinky problem I previously brought up. Now I have to reset this board again, and unplugging and replugging the USB isn't enough. After my second PC restart, the keyboard glitch is fixed, but the F1 to F3 keys still don't respond. Essentially, restarting your computer can actually cause this keyboard to glitch, thus requiring additional restarts. Speaking on the software side of things now, these features didn't impress me because I've seen them already. Still, I must say, I was caught off guard by the feature of layering RGB effects and how easy it was to do, especially in Ingenuity. I like my static blue, but I gave a small wave layer under it to give a slight color change. Points for user friendliness and a good set of RGB lights and features. I already mentioned how the user friendliness of setting keys could be a bit more explanative, yet it does work nonetheless. Freely customize any key of this keyboard to do anything.
even macro sequences, to save time in gaming or creative work. Moving on, after your fingers get used to the spacing of this board, I found the typing to be fluid and breezy. Something about how these keys push back at your fingers makes typing seem more defined, allowing me to get into the typing groove. Yet, I find it too straightforward to lose my fingers in these blocky keys, and it seems I am constantly accidentally hitting caps lock. I'm unsure why this is the case though. The keys feel nice to type on, yet perhaps they are slightly too large as they took me time to get used to. With gaming, the alloy is simply alright. It merely feels like you're playing on any other gaming keyboard. That's the thing with this keyboard, nothing other than RGB stands out. It's just so simple, too simple if you ask me. You can set your key binding profiles via the software if you like different macros for your games or Creative Suite programs. Anyway, if you can get over the slippery nature of the HyperX Alloy origins, this keyboard will be fine for you. It performs with no detectable latency and will get the job done. After all is said and done, the HyperX Alloy is so simple that there isn't much to really sink your teeth into. The RGB and its features are awesome, but that's about as hyped as you'll get about this product. It's also quite expensive at $109.99 MSRP, though I am sure you can find it at a discount. I spent more time trying to figure out the color change profile situation and the light glitch to even enjoy this keyboard. Plus, I am tired of caps lock. Noisy Pixel is giving the HyperX Alloy Origins full-size keyboard a C-. Sorry to say there are too many things I'm not jiving with here to give it a higher score. Lastly, get a wrist rest if you buy this. You will thank me later. Noisy Pixel is a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content. See ya, nerds.
Noisy Pixel.